Okay, today's video, we're going to talk about how to get free extra organic traffic from your PPC landing pages that you're already using or you're soon going to be putting up with the information that I'm going to give to you on today's video that makes it so that your PPC campaigns, of course, will get more money from the PPC campaigns that you have basically right away as soon as you put this landing page strategy I have for you into action. So with that said, you want some more money from your PPC directly through the ads money you're already spending, and then of course those landing pages as how much organic traffic they generate, which if they're not generating traffic, they should be, and they should be a lot. You need to stay tuned through this video, understand the way that we're doing it for our clients here, in which they're getting a ton of extra profit from the PPC campaigns, as well as through the organic traffic that those landing pages are getting. And here's the stat and highlight of the video. 1/2 of the sales you get from the proper landing pages you use from your PPC campaigns should be from your organic traffic. So in other words, if you're not getting half of your sales from the organic traffic, your landing pages that you set up for your PPC campaigns, if that's not coming from organic, you're getting half of the sales you get from organic traffic those pages get, specifically the landing pages get that you have for your PPC campaigns, and half of it comes from the PPC traffic itself, you've got a problem. You are throwing half of the money away of doing PPC because you didn't employ the actions that I'm talking about today that anybody can do that's running PPC. I'm going to give you a few examples of different industries where we've done this, where we're actually doubling the amount of profit and sales that those campaigns are making, doubling the sales and actually more than doubling the profit, because organic traffic, the margin on those sales is much, much higher than what you're getting through the actual paid traffic. And we're doing it in many different types of markets. Foundation repair, which is local services, national services, product development, product sales through e-com, through ceramic coatings, all examples of where this has worked extraordinarily well, and we've at least increased the amount of sales and profit that those PPC or those companies are making. Once we instituted this exact organic strategy to pick up extra traffic from your PPC campaigns, in which they got on top of their ordinary sales that they were getting through their company. So with that said, again, we're talking about actually, dramatically increasing your overall company sales. It's enough, to actually change the entire course of your business, just having this one strategy down for your business. So what this actually starts with is the proper landing page quote-unquote system but in order to get the traffic flowing in, massive organic traffic flowing into your company through these landing pages. And what that actually looks like as far as the landing page system, of course, you've got to start off with a landing page that has a good design, has a good user experience, so that when you promote that landing page to a set amount of or specific traffic source, that page blows people away. It gives the person exactly what they came for and what they want and what they prefer, and it does so better than your competition already. Side by side, the consumer should be able to pick your landing page every time in terms of the one that they would like to do business with. That's your goal before you even run PPC, for that matter. You want to have a landing page that can do that. It'll make everything you're doing 10 times easier. And once you've got that done, you are in position to make a ton of money from your PPC. But not only that, there is a very easy way to outdo your competition once you have even a decent landing page that's in the top 20% of the people that you're competing with in your market. And that is by going deeper in terms of the number of landing pages that you're actually using, so that you can create specific landing pages for specific subtypes of users or specific users that come through the PPC campaign that you're running. And what that actually looks like, it varies based upon what category of business in, whether you're a local service, national service, or product company. For a local service company, what this actually looks like is you would actually use different landing pages for the top 20 cities in your area. So this is my favorite all-time, trick that we use. I use it every single time because it works so well for local service companies. If you have a tree service where you cut down limbs on trees or just dying dead trees, you need to get rid of them. Use the chainsaw, cut the tree down, that kind of tree service. If you have a tree service like that and you're promoting through Google search for that PPC service, what you want to do is, instead of, let's say you're a tree service in Los Angeles, instead of just targeting everybody in Los Angeles individually, as a whole, which basically 95% of your competition is going to be doing, what you want to do is you want to break out all the smaller cities within LA that are still big cities but are within that LA County area that you service as a whole. Because usually as your service company, you'll service like a 30-mile radius around your office, or 50-mile or whatever. Within that, instead of just targeting everybody and saying, we offer services in LA County, you start to make a list of the top most populous cities within that LA County or within that general LA metro area that you actually service. And then you start creating landing pages for each of those top 20 most populous places. That could be, like one page for Long Beach, one for Compton, one for Hollywood, one for Torrance, whatever. And the reason why it's the top 20, because technically there's so many different cities and incorporated areas within the Los Angeles area that it would get to be a lot of extra work, let's just say, to create a campaign for every city down to cities that are only 10,000 people. Even though if you did that, you would get the most profit. For the most part, for an ordinary service like a tree service targeting a town with 10,000 people in it, you're not going to basically get very many clicks. So the return from doing that is not much. But from the top 20 cities within your metro area that you're targeting, that's basically, half to 3/4 of all the searches you're going to get. So basically, by creating a landing page for each city that are the top 20 cities in your metro area that you're targeting, you can have a much better experience for basically most of all the people that you want to target in your general metro area. And so anyway, what that looks like is you actually set up the landing page. You make a landing page for your tree service, going back to that example, for everybody so it converts well. So anybody who's looking for a tree service knows that you do tree service, that with that you cover their area, which to cover, for them to know that, you have a spot on your landing page that says, in your headline specifically, tree service in LA County. And then the other thing people need to know for a local service is, can I trust you? And then you have your average review score on Google and Yelp and Facebook right underneath your headline and all that, so people can see that before they even have to scroll. That's the general winning formula that we use on all our landing pages now to get super high conversion rates. But with that, you make that page, and then you're going to change the headline for each city. So the landing page itself is identical for every city that you're going to have a landing page for. The only thing that changes is, instead of saying tree service in LA County, it's going to say tree service in Torrance. And so you'll have, when you're done, you'll create your initial landing page, and then you'll make a copy of it, change the name of the city to whatever city that landing page is supposed to be for, and then you save it and then create another. And then when you're done, you have 20 different landing pages that all look like the original. But the only thing that was different was the headline. The headline's different, and it says tree service in, and then the city name. And so with that, you'll have 20 different search campaigns on Google that'll all target each city individually. You'll have one campaign, which is your catch-all, which covers the entire county. And then in that case, that particular landing page will say tree service in LA County. So all the places that are not in those 20 cities, you don't exclude them or forget them, but you have, to where it says LA County, and it gets an okay conversion rate. But for the people that are in Torrance, when they search for tree service and they don't use trees, even if they don't type in tree service Torrance, they type in tree service, but they're in Torrance, you have an ad that says tree services in Torrance that gets them to click on that ad at 3 times the rate of any other ads that are on Google, and then they're taken to a page that says tree service in Torrance, and your conversion rate on that page is basically double than what if you didn't have the name of that city specialized, or if, in other words, it would be twice the rate in which that page converts as if they just saw tree service in LA County. Because going back to what I said before, for a local service, a person always needs to know, can you do it? Or do you do what I'm looking for? Do you cover my area, and can I trust you? The second key part in there, do you cover my area? By saying Torrance, I automatically know, whereas if it says LA County, it's like, well, I'm kind of on the edge of the county, and maybe not. And then anytime someone even questions anything, or they're not sure about something, that always hampers conversion rates every single time that happens. So your goal as an advertiser is to think like the consumer and lay out your information on your page so that all the main things that people would question, those are all taken care of through the content and how it's laid out and so forth, which it's a very hard job to do when you're not skilled in making landing pages, because if you offer too much information, you're bogging people down with stuff that most people don't need, and then you'll hurt your conversion rates that way. But if you don't offer enough, you also get an ideal conversion rate. So you got to have the perfect amount of content, and it's got to be ordered in which people see the content in the right order as they normally would be thinking about it and so forth, which I have videos about landing page design on this channel if you want to get more into the scientific aspects of it to make a good page for yourself. It's an art form in and itself. But anyway, as per what we're talking about today, driving organic traffic, you would set all that up, and then you basically got your campaign for each city. Then automatically you're going to convert twice the rate basically than if you didn't do that, at least for when those people are in the top 20 cities in which you have dedicated campaigns for those people. Then when you've done that, the pages doubly serve as a page where you can get organic traffic now. And most of the time, you will find, if you go to Google, you type in tree service in Torrance, not only will you not see an ad that says tree service in Torrance, which if you're searching for that, just come on. If you're searching for that, you're from that city, you're going to click on the ad that says Torrance for the most part. I mean, that's not the only reason, but if the rest of the ad's great, and then it says Torrance, you pretty much, that's why you're going to get 3 times the amount of people that click on your ad versus the other people. And so but going further, if you go down to the organic section on Google, there's nobody who has a tree service in Torrance listing to click on, and it's the same exact thing there. What it takes to rank on organic is basically the same thing it takes to make the most money on PPC. The person who goes ahead and does more for the user, which part of that just comes down to breaking down their campaign into sub-segments so that you're not trying to speak to everybody saying the same thing, which when you do that, you don't appeal to anybody. You take what you would do to make your PPC work better, and then organically, you've now got the most ideal page for people that are searching in your city and want to see that you cover their area before they even click on your listing, or when they go to decide what to click on, yours is the first one they want to click on because they look at the top 3 or whatever one says Torrance, oh, I'm going to click on that one first. So you set yourself up for a really good set of organic traffic to come in, specifically because you have those landing pages. As a side note, some people call this doorway pages, and that's technically a term people used to call, and Google would also call it this, where people would make a bunch of pages that are optimized for a single keyword as a way to get organic traffic. And technically that's kind of what this is, but in the situation that we're talking about, people really, really want a page that shows that you offer a service in that city. So you're not just changing, let's say you were selling blue jeans. And a doorway page, in my opinion, and I'll explain why this is, if you were to optimize a page for top blue jeans and best blue jeans, basically it's the same type of person in a nutshell. And the content on the page would basically be the same. Of course, you could customize your headline on the page to say top or best. For the most part, if it wouldn't matter which of the pages shown. They would get about the same experience or behavior from the user because those users are basically the same. So therefore, there isn't a need to have 2 pages, and that's how Google sees it. And they'll basically also merge those 2 pages. They think that it doesn't matter if they show this page or this page. The result in terms of the amount of people that bounce from the page or convert on the page is about the same. We're just not going to index the one page. We're just going to index one of them, not both of them, basically. And so, but in the case of the tree service and for the local services, tree service in city name, and having that actually helps the user immensely. That's what the user is looking for, which there's a lack of it. You come in and be able to do that for the user. Of course, Google wants to give you that traffic. And if it said tree service in LA County, the interaction rate and the conversion rate on the page would be half or a third of what it would be with the exact name of the city. That's not a doorway page anymore because it's actually helping the user find what they want. So in this case, it's fine from that specific way of looking at it. Okay, so don't think about this as like against Google's policies. Anything that actually genuinely helps the user is fine. Where Google has all these rules is for people trying to game the system and not give the user a better user experience. I'll talk more about how to rank it and all that in a second, but that's for local services. If you're a national service company, let's say you're offering a dating service, national dating service, which are like for rich guys trying to get young girls, basically. You want different pages for each of the top 100 most populous cities and or service types in order to maximize your conversion rates and how much you can get out of your PPC campaigns, and also to get a massive amount of organic traffic as well from your landing pages that you would set up for your PPC campaign to get more out of your PPC campaigns. And so what that would look like, so if you have a page for dating services, and so instead of just sending everybody in the country, if they search for dating services, and if you service the whole country, you would want to where if they're typing in dating services NYC, that your ad says dating service NYC, and your landing page would say dating service NYC in the headline. And with that, going back to what I said before, if they're searching locally, they want to see something local. And if you go to Google and there isn't really anybody, in this case, there would be some people actually having a page set up for NYC only and dating services. But that's basically that's going to be like a requirement for that type of user that searches for that's a very specific thing, dating services NYC. And so with that, you want to have a landing page that says dating services NYC if you're going to target that term, or just don't target it. But why not target it that has our customer? And so we're going to take the time to set up a unique landing page for it and a unique ad. Generally, you want a unique ad and landing page that are going to say that keyword in it, because that's going to get you even more results. You're going to have 2 or 3 times the click-through rate doing that, and then on top of it, your conversion rate is going to be almost double beyond on top of that as well, or at least 40-50% higher conversion rates doing that one simple thing. And so you would do that for the top 100 cities, and then if you're not in the top 100 city, you would have a campaign that would just say dating services, our national dating service company, whatever, that covers everybody else that's not in the top 100 cities. You could go further, and if they're typing in dating services for rich men, if that's the keyword, you could have a landing page that's just for dating services for rich men that specifies, I'm a rich man, I want a dating service just for rich men like me. You could have a landing page that's just dedicated to that keyword. So what you could do is you could drill down your landing pages and make copies, not just on, to have the city name that the user's in, have that on the page so that if they're searching for the dating service, that they're going to see a page that says we cover your area, but also the way that you search for it, making sure that's in the keyword or in the headline as well. If you combine both of those, even though it's a lot more work, you'll get a compounding amount of increase in conversion rate from your traffic doing that, because it eliminates uncertainty. I know this dating service covers NYC because they're saying it up front. And with the service, again, you basically need them to know that you do what they came for, you cover their area, and they can trust your and can they trust you? You can take care of that with reviews and so forth. You will be helping them understand that you can offer what they came for better if what they typed in is the verbiage you use on the headline exactly, and you say the city name they're in the headline. Even if they don't search for the city name, if they're in NYC, you'll get more of a conversion rate, or more people that go to the page convert into a lead or to a sale if you actually have the city name in the headline for a service, even if it's not a local service company by trade. And even if they're not searching for with their city name in the search, it'll still increase your conversion rate. So for that matter, if you're selling nationally, you will get an automatic boost in your conversion rates on your PPC campaigns and therefore how much they make by having one campaign for each of the top 100 cities by population, or even the top 20 if you wanted to take it there and see how it works first. And so why not do it? And furthermore, if you make a page for each of the main top keywords, you could go into your campaign, find the top 100 most searched keywords, and make sure you have a dedicated landing page where the headline matches pretty much what the keyword was that the user searches for there, and get an extra boost in your conversion rate that way. As a side note, if you have a national service that you're offering and you're wondering, Corey, how the hell do you say, I don't have an office in NYC, so how do you basically target somebody searching for dating service NYC? And the answer to that question is, for the most part, you just think about it. Most people, they don't come in or need to come into a local office. So for that matter, yes, they search for a local company, but they're mainly doing it for most of these markets out there to make sure, like I said, of the three main things they need to know to contact you or buy, or at least to contact you up front. Do you cover their area? You're taking that initial question out of the equation for them right up front by saying, dating service NYC in the ad and the landing page. So therefore, that's why you do it. And at the end of the day, most people, there might be a few that basically say, oh, you're not in NYC, I'm not doing business with you. But that'll only, in most markets, as we found, 10% of the people, whereas the amount of money you're going to make is double. So there's going to be a few that are, not happy, but for the most part, the other 90% are going to be more happy with what you've given them up front and spent time to cater to them for, that you should go ahead and do it. But for national service, that's a go-to strategy that we're using a lot. We don't use it as much as the local service campaigns because that just really, really crushes it. But for the national services, we do it specifically because our competition's not doing it. They're not going to go and set a campaign up for each major city. They're not going to go set up a landing page for every keyword, if you will, respectively, and then make sure that each keyword in their account gets a dedicated ad and a dedicated landing page. But if you do, you want to at least double the amount of conversions you're getting, that'll do it. If you're a product company, where we're able to add a ton more profit is you create unique pages for the top 100 keywords in the campaigns that we're running. So this isn't something you usually do up front. You run your campaigns and then you find the top 100 most searched keywords, or better yet, the top 100 most profitable keywords in terms of gross actual revenue created or gross profit created. So not just the most searched, but what keywords are driving the most revenue, the top 100 keywords that are driving the most revenue for you, or it could be driving the most leads. If you're doing that, by the way, you should track how many leads are turning into a sale through what is called offline conversion tracking, and which I have a video that talks about that, where you can take your sales data from your leads, whether or not the lead closed or not, or what that lead is valued at, and import that back into your account so you can see which 100 terms are actually driving the most revenue for you, even if you're generating leads. And then from there, create a landing page for every one of those keywords so that you can double, triple the amount of leads and sales you're actually going to get out of those top 100 terms by having a unique landing page for each keyword. And the way that works for a product company, i.e. e-commerce, is if you were sending traffic to a product page, you would just change out and you would make a copy of the product page. And the headline of the product page, instead of saying the product name itself or what you have there for a headline, you would change the headline to something that's more geared to the keyword that landing page is supposed to be for. So if you were selling, with the example that I'm going to show here in a minute, if you sell a ceramic paint that are supposed to be applied to cars to make them more protect from the sun more, protect from water, rust, all that kind of stuff. Specifically, if they're searching for ceramic coating for cars with vehicle wraps, which is a common thing that people search for because they're wondering, can I use this with my vehicle wrap? So I'll just search for a company that says, that has it marketed that way. You would just change the headline from ceramic coating, 4-ounce bottle to ceramic coating for vehicle wraps, 4-ounce bottle. And then automatically right there, you have your quote unquote dedicated landing page for that term that fits perfectly with that term. And you can create a unique ad that again matches what that keyword is. So when they type in ceramic coating for, vehicle wraps, cars with vehicle wraps, that's what it says basically in the ad. And then the landing page also says that you're going to double to triple the amount of money that particular search phrase now brings in once that actual model is brought in for that keyword. And for other keywords where you can do the same thing. In the situation where you're driving people to a category page on your e-commerce site, you make a copy of you make a new category, basically, of that new category. You usually at the top of the category page, there's a headline there that says like if you sell pottery wheels, it'll say pottery wheels, at the top of the page, and then there'll be like all the pottery wheels there listed for you to click on. If you're looking for 12-inch pottery wheels, then you make a new category, which that category is going to use the template of your original category page that you were sending your traffic to now for that particular keyword or all your keywords basically, and then you would change that headline, which is the name of the category, to 12-inch pottery wheels, so that later on, when people in the future search for 12-inch pottery wheels, instead of sending them to a page that says pottery wheels on the headline and then have a bunch of pottery wheels there, you actually have a page that says 12-inch pottery wheels. So right away when they hit the page, they know they're at the right place. And less likely to bounce, which is where all your additional money comes from. And of course, on top of that category, you would just put 12-inch pottery wheels in there so they only see 12-inch pottery wheels. And so that would be the other way to do it if you're sending people to a category page right now instead of a product page. The other way you could do it is using a search results page. This is a really underserved way of making more money from your ads and to use the kind of stuff that I'm talking about here to make more money. The search results bar or your search bar on your site, you type in 12-inch pottery wheels, and then on a lot of websites by default, the search results will say search results for 12-inch pottery wheels, and then you can use that URL, just copy the URL from your browser and use that as your landing page. And it's a cleaner, cheaper, quicker way than creating a new category. And with that, of course, if you're going to create a new category, that category just needs not to be visible to the rest of the people on the site, and you've got an effective landing page set up for you. Same thing with the product itself. You're going to create a duplicate product. That product's not going to be findable through the site. It's just going to serve as a landing page. And so anyway, that you get the general idea. That in and itself is very effective. And if you pick the top 100 terms, it's not going to be that much extra work for you to get an extra. You're getting top 100 terms probably brings in 60-70% of your revenue now. You double the amount of sales you're getting from that 60 to 70% of revenue. Now your campaign makes another, basically you're getting more sales for the same ad spend. Now you're making almost twice as much from your campaigns just from that one action that I set you up with here. So that's for a product company. Now, once your campaigns are set up, regardless of what business type you have, and you increased your sales and profits a bare minimum of 40% through these actions that I gave you here, you can create a sitemap to increase your profits the same or even more than you increase through the PPC by the additional organic traffic you're going to get by having these landing pages and making sure Google knows about them. So what that looks like is, I mentioned sitemap, because landing pages are, your pages are by default not going to be findable through the navigation of your site or anything like that. If you're, of course, if you have e-commerce, those are not findable because that's what you wanted to, you wanted to do that from the beginning. Of course, if you're doing a service company or you have a service company and you're doing landing pages, those landing pages by default were probably not findable anyway. So with that said, which certainly is the case of how you want it, because that landing page is very aggressive. PPC landing pages that work the best are very aggressive compared to what somebody would want to see if they're searching for you someplace else organically by default, kind of basically. And but with that said, which is why you don't want them findable by anybody else for the most part. They look kind of cheesy for the average person that got a referral to come to such an aggressive page. But if you take all those landing pages and you create an actual sitemap, which there's sitemap generators online that you can do this, and then you go into Google Search Console, which if you don't have an account, those are free, and you submit that sitemap to Google Search Console, and they will now see all your landing pages without having to have them physically on your site, and they'll start to index those pages in the Google search engine. For the most part, when we do this for other clients, because we do this all the time, I love how this works because I don't have to deliver as much results on our PPC campaigns through our PPC service if I can get everything we're doing subsidized through the organic traffic that our landing page generates by not, just getting the pages indexed. And then I look even better, let's just say. The PPC was profitable, but it's nothing when you don't actually also count in the organic traffic that the landing pages will get, which for the, you can make a little bit of money on your PPC. You do this additional step of getting the sitemap set up and get organic traffic coming in, you make a ton. So the PPC, if you will, sets you up for the organic traffic you're going to get, and that in and itself, blows up your business. So you create this sitemap, you submit it to Google Search Console, Google indexes the pages. Generally speaking, we'll get Google to index 80+% of those landing pages, and you don't have to do any organic optimization to those pages. Once Google indexes those pages, they'll start to test out in their search engine based upon the context/text on those pages, what it looks like the pages are about. And if they do it on 1 or 2 pages and they find people that click through to your page, get a good experience, they'll start showing a couple more pages and a couple more. And then those pages that get ranked, they'll split test where, if your page shows up on the 5th position for a keyword and they find that people convert on that page at a higher rate than the number 4 listed one that's listed above you, they'll start testing you out at number 4. And if you are actually showing better conversion rates than number 4 was, you got number 4 position now, and then they could start to wonder if, putting you in the 3rd position is going to be better for Google's users of the search engine overall. And so with that, organic traffic isn't about these backlinks so much, at least when you're talking about very specific pages for very specific terms/locations in which there's probably not any dedicated pages that are there for the user to find when they're making those very specific searches. There's there's probably not a page anybody's ever made for ceramic coatings for cars with wraps on them. There's no page there, so just by seeing that and Google knowing people are searching for this, they'll of course try to see if your page is going to, resolve that person's particular inquiry or query. And if it does, then you're there, you're ranked. With that, you take, before you submit your sitemap to Google, you are already PPCing or buying traffic through your landing pages, for going back to that example about the ceramic coating for cars with wraps, how you promote that through Google search, you're going to do split testing to find out which ad gets the highest click-through rate, because that gets you the highest quality scores, and then the lowest cost per click, and then therefore the highest profit, from that particular keyword. And through that process, you find the best ad that gets people to click the most. Of course, you always have the keyword in the first headline, because you have a dedicated ad and a dedicated landing page for that particular keyword. So you're going to get that, but you'll test to see the second headline and the third headline, what works the best. You can use that information to write the title and description for that landing page, so that when you submit that page to Google through the Google Search Console, you're going to have the best, most optimized title and description on top of a really perfect page for that particular search query. And because ultimately, going back to what I said before, what it takes to get ranked organically and what it takes to make the most money with PPC is basically the same. Organically, Google's looking for what listings get the highest click-through rate, and then what amount of people convert, and what's your conversion rate on the landing page, because that judges how well your page services that particular user's type of query. So through the ad testing you did, you found out the perfect thing to say on the ad to get them to click through at a higher rate than anybody else's. So you should hypothetically be ranked first. And then your landing page was geared for that exact term. Nobody else had that. So, of course, you got a higher conversion rate than anybody else, or at least the least amount of bounces back to Google, where Google can see that your page didn't solve that user's need and they clicked on something else. You're going to have everything perfectly optimized to get ranked for that keyword with the data from your PPC campaigns and the ad that worked, using that as your title and description, along with your really good landing page that's designed to convert that exact type of user real well. And so, but for the most part, even if you didn't do heavy testing of your ad, your title would just be, you would do what you do with your ads to get the most out of those. Your keyword is what your title is. And your description, of course, that will be like what's worked well on your ads. But respectively, if you've looked on Google around in your market, you'll notice this, particularly if you're selling products, but also in the service side, what still ranks well is exact match searches. And when I say exact match, I'm not talking about the domain, but which is also still a really decent factor if your keyword's in the domain name somewhere. But the page title is still basically the #1 ranking factor. If you're not, besides backlinks from super authoritative websites or something like that. So just having a page where the keyword is in the title, you have a really good chance of ranking. So if you have a product page that you want to get more traffic from, creating a new product page and then having the keyword in the headline of the page, which is also a strong ranking factor, the H1, and then also having it in the title, you've automatically made your page, without doing anything else, more attractive than pretty much any other page Google has to pick from to rank on that particular search term on Google for the organic listings. And so, basically, again, you search around, just of your 100 keywords that are your top keywords in your PPC campaign, search for a bunch of those on Google, see what ranks. Look at the title of the product. You'll find a lot of times the only reason why that competitor's product that ranks organically is because the keyword is in the title of the page. And so just by having a page with your keywords in the title of the page, you'll get ranked. And so, respectively, going back to what I was saying before about your pages being too similar, if your terms are, basically very, very close in terms of the meaning to one another, you may actually go further than making sure to change the headline. And, of course, you write a title and description, that'll be unique from page to page. But you may actually, in the description of your product description, change some of the text. So it's going back to my example about the ceramic coating for cards with wraps on them. You may in the description, instead of talking about ceramic coatings, ceramic coating for vehicles with wraps, blah 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 blah, just change any place that where it says the original way that you were describing the product to the what the keyword is more so that the Google's algorithm that's trying to determine if you are quote unquote using doorway pages doesn't actually think it as much, because there's more to the page that's changed than just the headline. And people that typically use doorway pages are just changing the headline. Not always, but the more of it you change, the less Google's algorithm by default is going to think it's a doorway page. And they are actually trying to merge or delete redundant pages. So the more you change on it, the less likely Google's going to see something as redundant. And of course, if you're changing some of the description or body copy on the page, it'll be more attractive for somebody to convert, which, again, basically what Google's trying to do to decide if you're using doorway pages or not is to see if the page, if it were replaced with another page, does the person interact with it the exact same? And if so, these pages are, in their eyes, the same. So if you go ahead and change more on the page, it'll actually increase how much that page does better than the other pages in terms of the conversion rate of the page, which Google looks at to see if you should rank well. And so therefore, they're not going to obviously want to merge those pages then. So you may change more than just the title and description on the page. And then when I say title and description, again, this is meta title, meta description, what actually gets then used and shown on the organic search listing, the snippet as they call it. And then, obviously change that. And then you always got to change the headline to incorporate what that keyword is that page is supposed to be dedicated for, and surrounding around. You may also change some of the other text on the page to make it a little bit more unique. But in general, that's the formula. You make your landing pages, you go ahead, get a huge boost on your PPC campaigns, making individual pages for your top keywords / top cities if you're doing a service. Take those pages, write a title and description that is, works perfect for those pages so that you can get ranked organically really, really well. Change the headline, not change the headline. Headline's already changed from your PPC campaigns. You're just going to add a title and description that's good to get yourself a good click-through rate on your organic listing by having that title and description written on your landing page that you're using for PPC. Take those pages after you've written the title and description, add them in a sitemap, submit the sitemap to Google Search Console. Those pages get indexed. They'll start to slowly test out the pages on your sitemap in terms of how well do they serve the user's needs. And then slowly, more and more and more, you're going to get more and more organic traffic. And the amount of organic traffic you get once the ball gets rolling, Google seeing what you have here actually is a gold mine for them to be able to use to direct people to and have information to show people in that niche. The results can really be amazing. We'll just put it that way. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I would go over different markets where we've done this, just to show you the kind of scope and size of how much organic traffic you can actually get using this strategy once you've built up your PPC campaign landing page structure or system, using those pages, submitting them to Google and having them Google index them, given that page was fundamentally already built really, really well so that it converts basically better than any other page that you're competing against in the PPC space. Then on top of that, where you had unique pages for each keyword / city, so that you've taken it even further. Once Google gets a hold of those on the organic side, you get a shitload of traffic. Again, as long as Google, of course, sees them as unique enough that it matters whether they show this page or this page, which for the most part, like I said, it always is going to anyway. I threw that disclaimer out there in case you needed to change a little bit more about the page. But in the local services, I got an example from the local services, national services, and then the e-commerce space about the kind of results we're getting on the organic side. Given I wanted to give you guys all an example of how, this can work for basically any business type. We're actually using this strategy probably 80% of the time with our clients. You don't necessarily do it right away, but once you get everything set up on the PPC side, if you don't take advantage of this, you're kicking your own ass, basically. Enough so, in the local service space, we had a foundation repair company in these examples, you can see how we twisted the strategy a little bit and morphed it based upon what market we were in and the size of the market and so forth, just like you should be doing. In this particular case, this foundation repair company, it was not just based in one metro area. It was based in 5 different states that they were in. And so therefore, we didn't do the top 20 cities and make unique landing pages for the top 20 cities in the city or metro area that they were targeting. We created landing pages for each state. And at the state level, when you're competing against people who have a landing page for each city, you're now in a less competitive situation. So with that, if that were you had a regional company in which you couldn't create pages for each city because there's just too many, you can compete then having pages also set up for each keyword, so that now you're in a position where you've got more detailed landing pages than your competition at that point. You want to look at what the competition has on the PPC side as well as the organic side, see how you can add more landing pages to add more detail than anybody else is doing. If you do that, you're generally going to get a shit ton of results. In this case, each of the 2,000-3,000 different keywords that people search for when they're looking for a foundation repair or related, and then adding that to the 5 different states. So we had like 10,000 landing pages, which we did this through Unbounce. Obviously, I recommend an outside landing page tool to do this. That way, that's not going to slow down your website. But if you do this, by the way, with like a WordPress site, it'll slow down all the rest of the pages on the site. Whereas on Unbounce, you don't have to worry about anything. You also don't have to worry about another rogue employee accidentally deleting pages or wondering what the hell are these landing pages and starting deleting them. Given it takes so much time to set up, you want it totally locked in and where it won't be disturbed, because you'll want that there for years and years and years. And it also is the easiest to make copies of pages, even though for the most part on a WordPress you can make a clone page tool where you can make a copy of any page within 5 seconds. And other tools, you can, other website platforms, it's generally pretty easy with a plugin or of some sort. And on e-commerce, you generally can find a way to do that with like Shopify and stuff, making the unique products and having those products not show up in the navigation is a little bit hard, but there's ways around it through custom coding and stuff like that. But going back to the foundation repair example, this company had about $10 million a year in sales. Once we actually started to make all those landing pages, of course it helped a little bit on the PPC side, but the organic side, we literally doubled the amount of traffic. It's because most of all the sales that they got were from their PPC to start with. They get a little bit of organic traffic. So through the PPC and the little bit of referrals and all that they got, they were about a $10 million a year business, targeting 5 states or in 5 states. The organic came in, it literally doubled the amount of traffic that site got, more than doubled. So we took them from a $10 million a year company to 20 million plus just by the organic traffic that the landing pages got. And given that we took it to an extreme level, actually setting up a page for every keyword in every state. So if they're looking for cracked basement repair, they're actually going to see a landing page that says cracked basement repair in Illinois or whatever. So saying the keyword and the city. And so yes, I know that's insane to set up 10,000 pages, but you see the results. And again, it's not necessarily a doorway page, which I had an argument about, the SEO company the client was working with. I don't care what you say about what the technical rules are about these doorway pages and like at what Google's saying. Don't kill me, Google. But if somebody's looking for cracked basement repair, you can't tell me that they would rather see something that says foundation repair company than cracked basement repair show up in their search results, particularly also on top of it saying cracked basement repair in Idaho or what have you. And the results showed it. Google, obviously made our placement for cracked basement repair, given that one example, saw that it did much better in terms of the click-through rates and the conversion rates, and then kept it. If the page didn't do any better than the page that was there before, or they split tested it, again, it's a different story. But this, in a local service context, people want something that says the keyword and the city name. It's just the way that it is. And the same thing if you're talking about national services. Yes, it seems stupid or redundant to actually have a campaign set up for each city, even though you're targeting nationwide. And then similarly for the organic to, all that, but it pays big. We had similarly done the same kind of thing in the product development space where we didn't do the top 100 cities. We instead, looking at the competition, we did the top 20 cities, and then we did the keywords so that if they're looking for product development company, we had the ad, of course, and also the landing page. Since we're talking about landing pages, here I'll focus on that. Product development company in San Jose. If they're in San Jose, that's what the page would say, in San Jose. So product development company in San Jose. If they're looking for product designer and they're in San Jose, they'd see a campaign or a landing page that would be in the headline, say product developer. I think I said product developer. So if it was product designer, then of course the headline would say product designer in San Jose. If they typed in product developer in San Jose. If they typed in design my product company, it would say design my product company in San Jose, just like that. So we did it on both levels again, on the keyword level and the city level, and not quite as dramatic of results here, namely because what we're talking about, I normally, and this is a common thing, we'll normally see way more organic traffic from the local markets where we do this. And for that, I just simply attribute that to the competition level. For local business, nobody's doing this stuff. On a national context, some people are doing it. And also it makes more difference on the local level that people want to see their city on the ad more so than the national context. It's important, but not quite as important. But anyway, we took them from a $22 million a year company to 30 million plus. So we didn't over double it just from these organic clicks that we're getting from these landing pages, but it went up a ton all the same, given for the very few companies are marketing on a local level for that thing, and certainly no people that are marketing at the search level on a local level. When you combine, the keyword or what, taking what the keyword was, what they type in, plus the city that they're in, of the top 20 cities, they'll, basically putting them together, we had something that was unique. And so that's what you want to do again. You want to find out to what level you have to do to be unique. You go there. Google has now really something they want to rank you for, and that's where you really, capitalize. Most people that want to rank organically, you got to think from Google's perspective. There's pages there that are ranked well. They know how all those pages perform. Why the hell are they going to rank your thing when they don't know why your stuff's different? You got to do something different in order to even have the chance to get ranked. Even having a page that targets a term that nobody else is targeting, that's how you get your foot in the door with the organic rankings. Of course, everything checks out in terms of the performance of the page, conversion rate wise, click-through rate wise. Now you're going to not only stay ranked, but you'll probably rise up the ranks until you're like number one, because nobody else has a page that performs as well. And that's what Google's seeking to do, find the best page. So anyway, you get the general idea there. The last example in the e-commerce space, I've talked about this earlier in the video. We had a ceramic coating products company sold the ceramic coatings for, to put on your car to make the water, waterproof coat basically on the car. And there's other reasons why you have this. But anyway, just like I described before, instead of just sending, if somebody's looking for a ceramic coating, instead of just sending everybody to the basic product page, if they type in ceramic coating for vehicles with wraps, which a wrap, if you still don't know what that is, that's where you really they wrap the car so it has like a different color. It looks like the car is painted, but it's not. It's just like a sticker that they put on the outside of it. People want to put the ceramic coating on top of that to make the vehicle water repellent. And so again, like I said, people would search for that. We saw people were searching for that. So then we had a page that just makes sure that they know right when they see the organic listing, basically, we did it for PPC, but for the organic side, right when they go to the organic listings, they see ceramic coatings for vehicles with wraps, so they know exactly what to click on, and then the headline says it, so they know, oh, they're not really bullshitting. What I saw in the organic search results, which seemed like it was, for some reason it was just somebody were on the ball. They made a page exactly what I was looking for, but they weren't saying it and then trying to funnel traffic in just as a scheme. No, this page is also telling me right away that this is exactly what this product is. Therefore, it will convert it at a crazy high rate. You get a lot of more customers per visit than you would have got for ceramic coatings. And Google wants to rank it super high because nobody else did what you just did. So you get the general idea there. Did it for basically the top 100 keywords, and specifically like I was talking about before, top 100 most profitable keywords from the gross revenue side, not in terms of profit margin, but the top 100 most revenue producing keywords we set up unique product pages for, in that we were sending all the traffic to the product page, then we sent it to 100 other product pages which are not visible in the navigation, but are findable because we put it into a sitemap, all those pages into a sitemap, and Google now knows that they can index, potentially have something that can help users out better on the organic search listings when they're searching for specific ceramic coating products. And it paid off real well as well. That company, before we did the sitemap situation where, the sitemap tool, technique, whatever you want to call it, where you upload the sitemap with all the landing pages on it, and having written a title and description, made a title and made a description that would really grab someone's eye when they made it that specific search, in which that page targets a very specific search by itself. We got the sales from 3.5 million to, it was over 5 million the last time that I was engaging with them. At this point, it could be more, but that's what they were already getting at the time. Couldn't really optimize the campaigns anymore. So in terms of the main techniques that we could use, their PPC guy took over the management of the campaigns, which is pretty typical, and the organic was doing real well. I recommended they do this for not just the top 100 most revenue producing keywords, but the top 1,000. Taking a page from that foundation repair company's book where we just did 10,000, but they didn't actually do it at the time. If it were my company and I was running an e-commerce company, this is exactly what I would be doing. I would be making a landing page for every single way that people search for the product, as long as, the disclaimer, as long as, like I was saying before, that as long as the landing pages you make are actually optimizing for fairly unique type of searches. If again, if all you're trying to do is just trick the algorithm to get you more traffic, you don't want to do it. But if legitimately the user would be helped if they got a slightly different page with a different headline that would make sure that the product or service that they're looking at, they know easier that your product or service does what they're looking for, then you go ahead and do it. So, and for the product side, if the searches are different enough, then you're helping the user, you should do it. If they're not different enough, you're talking about ceramic coating products versus ceramic coating goods, let's just say. those searches are not different enough. They're not, you know, that user that searches for ceramic coating goods, if they got to the ceramic coating products page, wouldn't convert any better. Therefore, that would be more so a doorway page situation, and are actually crossing that line of not, you're manipulating the algorithm to help you without helping their users out at the same time. So it's not, you know, a trick if the users actually are benefiting. So, but anyway, that's it. I'll wrap it up with that. Hope you enjoyed. If you like this video, by the way, you should consider giving it a thumbs up and like it. I have a ton of other videos on this channel about other PPC money-making strategies. If you want to learn how to make a ton of money with PPC, this is the best channel with the best, most actionable advice that I can find, given we're giving you on this channel exactly what's working on our clients' PPC campaigns at our PPC firm, and therefore it doesn't get better than that. We tell you exactly what's working in today's environment, what's not working, what to stay away from, and if you just follow our advice, you'll make a ton of money. So consider subscribing. I have a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog with step-by-step instructions on how to build PPC campaigns the way that I build them for our clients here to guarantee the results, in which that's, you know, our firm Guaranteed PPC, that's what we do here. If you want to know on a more step-by-step individualized basis on how to do PPC right, the way that, you know, makes good money, you can find plenty of good information there as well to help you out as well, in addition to the high-level overview stuff that we do on this channel. Beyond that, if you have any questions about anything I shared, leave me a comment down below. I get back to every single person, usually within a couple days' time. I do have a brand new program I wanted to share with you guys on this channel, which is we offer now turnkey PPC campaigns, which we've been working with clients for years, built up a multi-million-dollar winning PPC campaign strategy. You can actually get those same exact results for your company. We can, you know, lease basically or sell to you the exact campaign that we're running for that other client. If you would not, it's not a direct conflict, i.e. local service, you want to do it in a different market, instead of building your own campaign or trying to figure out how to get a campaign working for your market and your existing business, you can take our multi-million-dollar winning, you know, PPC campaign from one plumber and start up a plumbing business in another market, crush it, outsource the work to another plumber, and have a turnkey business essentially for yourself. We also have product campaigns where the campaigns were working, client found something more useful, still works, still profitable, and you can also get those. We offer the PPC campaigns and the winning landing pages that go together, and can show you the results these campaigns get before you even have to do the campaign. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, you can reach out to our firm at guaranteedppc.com and ask us what we got there. But beyond that, I'll wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on my next video where we have another great strategy where we go through something else that can make you a bunch of money. See you there.